Hey, it's Mary, and it's Sunday afternoon, and I just thought I would share with you some experiments I've been doing because I've been trying to figure out an effect, how to create an effect in a different way using soft pastels. And soft pastels have this really wonderful quality of being very ethereal and at the same time being very luminous, meaning very sparkly. And that's because pastels are made of pure pigment with very little binder. And because of that, its crystalline structure means it has many facets. And so it's kind of like diamonds, painting with colored diamonds. It's one of the reasons why I love soft pastels so much. And it's the same pigment that is used in watercolor or oil paint or acrylics or gouache. The difference is they all use wet binders. And as soon as you wet soft pastels, as soon as you wet the pigments, they collapse. They lose those facets. And so they lose that luminosity, they lose that sparkle. So one of the things I've been trying to figure out is I've been working on a commission, and this has been something that's been plaguing me for a while, long before the commission, which is how can I depict rain in a soft pastel painting that would be a little bit different than the standard way of just keeping things very soft and kind of misty, with a few drops of raindrops here and there. I wanted something a little bit more interesting and intriguing. And whether I do that or not in this upcoming commission or not, I don't know yet. But I felt it was important to start playing with something and see whether I could do something. So as luck would have it, I was on the internet. I was, you know how you get sucked into videos? At least I do. On tutorials of things, because I'm always looking to learn something new. And this manufacturer, who is called Golden, had this little demo going on a new product, or at least a new product to me, that is called acrylic gel glass beads. And I'm kind of like, well, what could that do? I mean, it looked kind of interesting. So I ordered some, as you see, and I started playing with it. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So this is one of the maquettes that you've seen me do in a time lapse for this commission. And as you can see, there's a very strong line of rain here. And there's a double rainbow in the sky. And what's interesting about the original photograph that I'm working from on this is that there really is a hard line of rain because there's an overpass here. And this rain came down and it stopped abruptly along the roadway, but it also stopped abruptly right around here where a double rainbow is going on, because the rain only went so far. It was this rain cloud that came across. And so I wanted to figure out how could I create this sparkle of this rain, because when you look at the photograph, because the sun is still shining because of the rainbow that you see, how can I pick up that sparkle? And yet this is still clear sky and there's no mistiness here. How can I create that sense of depth and the sparkle? So this is why I'm messing around with stuff. And I wanted something different rather than just the traditional way that we deal with that in soft pastels. So I got the gel and I started playing with it. And so this is the result of my experiment. So apologize for the shadow of my camera, my iPhone, but I'll pull it up for you so you can see differently. But I lay down this acrylic gesso, which is a milky color that's filled with these itty bitty tiny glass beads, really, really, really tiny. And it dries clear. And so you can see it's clear here. It's overlaid on top of some soft pastel. And you can see where I've scumbled some other pastel on top of this. It has a really interesting texture, as you can see. And I've layered scumbled other pastels on top of this texture to see what comes out. And it's a really interesting effect. It's a little tough to see that it's kind of sparkly. It's clear. You can see through to the pigment on beneath the acrylic gel. Up here on this side, you can really see the difference. On the right-hand side, I have scumbled some pastel on the left, I have not. I've just left it with that acrylic gel on top. So it's creating this depth, which is really interesting. It's giving it some sparkle. You can see a little bit there as I turn it. And at the same time, it's allowing me to get some additional texture that I normally wouldn't get just strictly from sanded paper, which is what I'm using. So I thought, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Let's carry this a little bit further and let's see what we get on different kinds of pastels and different brands. And so these are different brands of pastels. They have different quality. Some are softer, some are harder. And some of them actually have mica in them. So they're called what we call iridescent pastels. So the ones here on the right are iridescent. They've got mica in them. And I've just laid the acrylic bead gel on top of it. And it's really, really interesting to see that with the mica versions, that sparkle still stays there. It's a little hard to see on camera. But it really, again, creates that interesting texture. It's maybe a little bit too rough for rain, but it may work perfectly for that edge of rain that I'm looking for down on the surface of the macadam of the roadway. Over here are some harder and softer pastels. This deep purple that you see here, I pulled some of the gel out onto the gray paper so you can see the difference between what it looks like on top of a colored pastel versus just the straight paper itself. And I'm really, really enjoying the effect. Up here where you see the white, I've just put down some of this acrylic gel. It'll take a while to dry, but that's what it looks like when it first goes down. And on the right is what it looks like when it's dried. So all in all, I think that this is a really interesting experiment. It's certainly something that I'm going to continue to play with and see how I can use. It's different. But it's fun. This is what we artists get to do, is we get to play and experiment and try new different things. I never know what's going to come out of it. That's part of the fun. It's part of the exploration. And I'll keep you posted and let you know what I wind up doing. Thanks so much. Have a great day.